Hello everyone, welcome to the video on GPAT questions on congestive heart failure. In this video, I have covered questions from medicinal chemistry, pharmacology as well as physiology related to congestive heart failure disease. Let's begin. The first question which is asked in GPAT 2020 is, identify the diuretic which causes hyperuricemia, hypercalcemia and hypomagnesemia. Let us understand the terms. Hyper means excess levels. Uricemia means uric acid, emia means blood. That means an agent which increases uric acid levels in the blood. Hypercalcemia similarly increased levels of calcium in blood. Hypomagnesemia, hypo means reduced levels of magnesium in blood. So we need to figure out a drug which is causing all the three effects. Now all of them are diuretics. Furosemide is a loop diuretic. Acetazolamide is carbonic anhydrase inhibitor. Chlorothiazide is thiazide diuretic, whereas mannitol is osmotic diuretics. Now out of these, loop diuretics and thiazide diuretics has got common adverse effects profile. Let us understand them. Both the agents like loop and thiazides, both of them will cause a common adverse effect, that is hyperuricemia. Now increased levels of uric acid in the blood will occur because of these two agents. Why this happens is, when you see the nephron, to the nephron there is a pathway by which loop and thiazide diuretics will get into this nephron, and that pathway is known as organic acid transport system. The same pathway also transports uric acid to the nephron lumen. So there occurs a competition between loop diuretics and thiazide diuretics and uric acid to get into this lumen. When people take these drugs, because of the competition, uric acid remains inside the body, whereas loop and thiazides will get to this nephron. Due to this effect, both the drugs will cause us hyperuricemia. Clear? Now, so this condition is shown by both the drugs. Now the next one is hypercalcemia. Hypercalcemia means increased levels of calcium in blood. Now there is a difference between these two drugs. Loop diuretics will increases excretion of calcium, hence they lowers the calcium levels in the blood, whereas thiazides will increase the calcium levels in the blood. Because of this property, thiazides are sometimes used to treat nephrolithiasis. Nephro means nephron, litho means stones. So these drugs are used to reduce the stone formation in the nephron. How and why? Because they reabsorb calcium from the nephron to the blood. They reduce the amount of calcium in the kidney. So stone formation in the kidney reduces. Not only this, they are also used to treat osteoporosis. Osteoporosis is a condition wherein osteo means bone, pores means kind of holes. This occurs because of deficiency of calcium. When thiazides are used, calcium is reabsorbed into the body and it could treat this osteoporosis condition. Now, why this happens? Let us understand the mechanism. Now, look at this. This is a distal convoluted tubule wherein thiazide diuretics will act. Thiazide diuretics will inhibit the sodium chloride sympode. Because of that, sodium and chloride will be going out through the collecting duct. Now, this results in reduced amount of sodium in the distal convoluted tubule cell. In the cell, sodium levels reduces because sodium is not getting reabsorbed because of thiazide diuretics. Rather, they are going out of the body. To compensate this, at this junction, a sodium calcium antipode will get activated. Sodium from the blood is taken back into the cell and it is exchanged with a calcium. From the cell, a calcium is taken back to the blood. From the blood, the sodium gets into the epithelial cell. So what happens inside the cell? There occurs a calcium deficiency. To avoid this, from the urine, calcium is reabsorbed into the cell again from calcium channels. This is how from the urine calcium is reabsorbed and calcium levels in the blood increases. That is what we call it as hypercalcemia. Even parathyroid hormone also does the same things. Thyroid also does the same things. Now the next one, hypomagnesemia. Both furosemide loop diuretics as well as thiazides, both of them will reduce the amount of magnesium in the body. So understand this question. Hyperuricemia, hypomagnesemia, both the adverse effects are caused by loop as well as thiazides, but the difference comes with calcium levels. Furosemide loop diuretics reduce the levels of calcium in the blood, whereas thiazides will increase the levels of calcium in the blood. So this is about this question. So the answer is chlorothiazide. Moving further. Now, which of the following ACE inhibitor is synthesized from L-alanine and L-proline? All of them are ACE inhibitors. Now, we need to understand this. L-alanine is an amino acid. That amino acid structure is NH2, CH3, CH, CO, OH. The reason why we call it as amino acid is they have got an amine group and an acid group. And this is what is the typical structure of alanine. Whereas proline is an amino acid. The proline structure is this one. It has got an imidazole ring with carboxylic acid. So you need to find a drug which contains both of them, alanine as well as proline. Let us see the drugs. See, the structure of captopril is this, lisinopril is this one, ramipril is this one, enalapril is this one. Look at the structures, all of them has got certain common motifs. This one is a proline ring, is present in captopril, lisinopril, whereas enalapril, all of them contains proline ring. But this one is cyclopentapyrrole ring. That means to the proline a cyclopentyl ring is attached. So in the synthesis you need to have proline, only proline, not cyclopenta attached one. So this one is ruled out. This is not an option. Now after that, what is the question asks about? It needs L-alanine. Now you need to find out this structure. Now do you have alanine here? No. Now what do you have it here? This is also an amino acid. This is known as lysine. Because it has got a lysine, it is known as lisinopril, starts with L. But we are looking for alanine. Now look at this. This is what is alanine is. Alanine form. So the drug which contains proline as well as alanine is enalapril. Now see, here also you have alanine, but the ring is not, this one is not proline. So the answer is enalapril. Enalapril. Next one. Now let us see certain things about ACE inhibitors. You can see captopril has got only carboxylic acid, whereas captopril and lisinopril has got only carboxylic acids, whereas ramipril, enalapril has got dicarboxylic acid. 2 carboxylic acids is there. This one is an ester form. This is also ester form. So all these esters are prodrugs. That means they need to get deesterified and release the acid derivative. Whereas captopril, lisinopril, both of them are active drugs. Now the other one. Once this ester is cleaved, it is converted to acid. They are known as lat forms. That means enalapril is converted to enalaprilat. In fact, this enalaprilat is used in the form of IV to treat hypertension. Hypertension. So these are all the some of the things you need to understand them. So there are only carboxylic acid drugs are there. They are active drugs, whereas ester drugs are prodrugs. So the answer for this proline containing as well as alanine containing drug is enalapril. This is a structure based question. When you know the structures, then you can answer this question. Moving further, the next question is the following is not true for furosemide. This one is given in GPAT 2018. Now loop diuretics, we have already seen it. All the loop diuretics and thiazide diuretics will reduce the amount of potassium in the blood. This condition is known as hypokalemia. Both of them will increase uric acid in blood. It is known as hyperuricemia, but here it is given as hypouricemia. Hypomagnesemia means they reduce the levels of magnesium and they inhibit sodium absorption. So all of them are true except this one. So what is not true? It is not hypouricemia, it is hyperuricemia. So this is the answer. Moving to the next question. Now, which of the following is the mechanism of action of digitalis glycoside? On the same topic, there are multiple times many questions were given in 2018, in 2015, 13, 12, and so many times there are questions about mechanism of action of digitalis glycosides. The way they frame the question may differ, but finally the logic goes back to mechanism of action of digitalis. Let us see the options. They inhibit sodium potassium pump, reduction of AV conduction rate, increase cardiac output, increase AV conduction rate. Let us understand them. Now, what is the mechanism of action? cardiac glycosides will inhibit sodium potassium pump. This is what happens. When sodium potassium pump is inhibited, sodium calcium exchanger also inhibited. Sodium calcium exchanger sends calcium out of the cardiac myocyte. If this is inhibited, the levels of calcium inside cardiac myocyte increases. That is what increases cardiac output or causes inotropic effect. This is how cardiac glycosides act. But along with that, they have got one more peculiar characteristic is there. Cardiac glycosides will cause vagal response. Due to this vagal response, parasympathetic nervous system is activated. Because of this parasympathetic nervous system activation, it causes reduced heart rate. So what happens is, in case of cardiac glycosides, there are two effects are there. They cause positive inotropic effect, inotropy, whereas they cause negative chronotropic effect. So they have positive inotropic effect, but they cause negative chronotropic effect. This is advantageous because negative chronotropy means reducing heart rate, which occurs because of parasympathetic nervous system activation. This reduces oxygen demand. Now look at the options. Inhibition of sodium potassium ATPase, right. Reduction of AV conduction rate is what is causing negative chronotropy. This one is also right. Increase in cardiac output due to positive inotropy, cardiac output is increased. This is right. Increase in AV conduction rate, no. Increase in AV conduction rate should increase heart rate. This is not is happening. So this one is not the mechanism of action. So what do you have in option 1, 2, 3 are right. This one is right answer. As I told you so many times, there are different types of questions based on digitalized glycosides. In one of the examination, this was given. The mechanism of action is positive inotropy, negative chronotropy. Moving further. Now, all these questions are based on ACE inhibitors. Now, which of the following side effect of ACE inhibitor results from inhibition of bradykinin breakdown? ACE is an enzyme which is also responsible for the metabolism of bradykinin. When we take ACE inhibitors, bradykinin metabolism also inhibited, and that results in two of the major adverse effects. One is dry cough, next one is angioedema. Angio means blood vessel, edema means fluid accumulation. Now, remaining thing are not there, but the major side effect is this one, dry cough. Now, similarly, this is given in GPAT 2018, whereas in GPAT 2012, this question is asked. The major advantage of ACE inhibitor is they are the first line therapy for congestive heart failure. They reduce hospitalization. They delay disease progression. All of them are included in the options, and all of them are shown by ACE inhibitors. Now, in 2011, this is what is given. Angiotensin, what does it cause? It causes myocyte hypertrophy. ACE inhibitors will reduce the formation of angiotensin II, and they will reduce the condition myocyte hypertrophy. That is the reason why they delay disease progression of congestive heart failure. Now, the last one in GPAT 2010, there is a question about aliskiren. What is aliskiren? It is a renin inhibitor. So, all these questions are based on ACE inhibitors. Moving further. Now, excessive use of diuretic can lead to, this one is a kind of physiology question. Diuretics will increase urinary output. That means fluid volume inside the body is reduced. When fluid volume is reduced, the volume of fluids will get reduced. This may cause hypovolemic shock. Hypo means reduced, volume means fluids, shock. That may result in cardiovascular collapse. You know, when the fluid amount inside our cardiovascular system is reduced, it immediately results in reduced blood pressure. If it is not immediately treated, it may cause hypovolemic shock. That is the reason why when accidents happen during multiple injuries and when people lose lot of blood, immediately in hospitals blood transfusion is carried out. That is to avoid this hypovolemic shock. So, excessive use of diuretics may cause hypovolemic shock. Moving further. Now, cardiac output is, again, this is a pure physiological word. Cardiac output means the amount of blood that ejected from the ventricle per minute. If it is per beat, it is called as stroke volume. If it is per minute, it is known as cardiac output. So, these are all the questions based on congestive heart failure. Thank you for watching this video.